Hello, my name is Andrew Califf, and I am this year's Storyteller in Residence. I might look different from my introduction video because I've been training ice climbing outside of Beijing recently, and an icicle fell and hit my face, resulting in 9 stitches. But I'm past the recovery process and excited to share with you my first story pitch. I'd like to go to the Pamir Mountain range in between Tajikistan and Afghanistan, where the Pamiri ethnic groups have a very cool hunting tradition, where the act of hunting has fully blended with Ismaili Islam. The act of hunting, going into the mountains to hunt, is this spiritual and religious experience, where there are many rituals and customs related to it involving purity of thought and isolation in the mountains being this almost transcendent relationship with God. One of the most visually compelling rituals to me is the act of lowering the Marco Polo sheep or ibex through the roof of the home to represent the sustenance or food being a gift from God. This is particularly interesting to me as an archaeologist because the Pamiri hunters use what I call proto-crampons, and they're basically crampons or traction devices made of goat horns to navigate the ice and hard snow at the end of fall, early winter when they traditionally hunt. It's something you see in the archaeological record, and the oldest snowshoes in the archaeological record are from a bit farther east in China, from Xinjiang, about 6,000 years old. For me, the question of how people first started using high elevation zones, high altitude plateaus and mountains, is something that deeply motivates all of my research. And it is something, one of the biggest theories is that hunting is what pushed people to migrate further and pushed people into different zones. One of the biggest theories right now is people first started exploring these areas to hunt game, and then they would return to the lower valleys to live. So in many ways, this is a tradition that has been around for thousands of years that is deeply fundamental to how Indigenous people perceive the environment, deeply fundamental to the human relationship to the environment. Hunting in itself is something that I find fascinating because while integral and fundamental to Indigenous lifeways and the relationship between humans and the environment, it is something that today in many cases can clash with modern conservation efforts. These are all things I would like to better understand by documenting these disappearing hunting traditions, as they are no longer allowed in Tajikistan and Afghanistan. I hope to find personal stories and spend time with people and go into the mountains with them and really photograph and better understand their perceptions of the wilderness and mountains, and better understand the material culture and rituals around these practices. Thank you.